we're going to talk about natural cure to type 2 diabetes, a little bit different from type 1. Type 2 being, well, we'll get into it. How about that? But my name is Robin, and for the past more than a decade, I've been in the field of health and nutrition. And my passion is to help inspire others to use food and nutrition as a tool to heal. And I was on my way to being a diabetic when I shifted my eating and really started to study my body and nutrition. So I want to share what I know and answer any questions that come up along the way. I will go through all of the information, then I'll make sure to address any questions. When I do so, you are welcome to type them in. There's a chat feature somewhere, and I'll answer them. Or if you're not feeling shy, you can speak it through the computer. But let's jump in and talk about type 2 diabetes and what it is and what it's not. So I call it understanding the enemy, and to keep it in short terms because it gets kind of confusing, but what it really is elevated blood sugar, and diabetes is a disorder of carbohydrate metabolism. So that means that your body is not able to successfully process the carbohydrates that you're giving it, either because it's too much or that there's a disorder along the way. But all in all, to keep it simple, diabetes is your body not able to process the carbohydrates. And we'll dig into what carbohydrates are and which ones your body processes better. So again, you're getting more carbs than your body needs. And so with carbohydrates, let's just say it's your breads, your pastas, your cakes, pies. It could, in some cases, be fruits. It could be oatmeals. And so what happens is it turns into sugar, and in some cases, it's just more than your body can bear. So to kind of get a little bit technical is that, again, it's elevated blood sugar, and every cell in your body needs sugar. And the hormone insulin removes the sugar from the bloodstream and binds it to the surface of the cells. So the insulin opens the door to the cells and allows sugar to enter. In type 2 diabetics or diabetes, the cells resist the insulin's normal function. And that's how diabetes develops over time. So it's your body not doing what it is designed to do, which causes the challenges. With diabetes, and this is fascinating to me, over 30 million people have diabetes. Another 85 million they're pre-diabetic, so they don't know. And then a third of the population is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And what's hugely alarming about this is that type 2 diabetes has doubled over the past 5 years, and it affects 90% of the people that have diabetes. So type 1 is more, it's not caused by lifestyle, whereby type 2 generally is. And in so many cases, it's preventable and even reversible. So that's actually good news. Why should we pay attention to diabetes and making sure we don't get it, or if we do, how to manage it, is because it can cause huge complications. One of the most serious ones being death, also going blind, kidney failure, amputation, stroke, cardiovascular disease, neuropathy, your weakened immune system. And I mean, that's enough. So that is why it's an area of concern. There's some hidden factors that help to put this perfect storm in order, in addition to the food that we're eating, but chronic stress, adrenal fatigue, that means your body's just always at a hurried up pace and it doesn't come back down to rest. That causes chaos in the body. Inflammation, food allergies, food sensitivities, that throws the body off. Hormonal imbalances such as menopause, which men don't have to worry about that, but us ladies, that is what happens. And then an environmental toxin. So all of the things that are happening in the world, some of which we cannot control, which are environmental toxins, but so many things that we can control or we would want to control. So what is normal blood sugar is fasting, then you can see it 65 to 99, or after a meal, 140 mgs. So that's what's normal if you've eaten or you're fasting. So that's what you want to look for. So what is society telling you? Because I know that the fact that diabetes is one of the fastest growing diseases, there's something going on that it wasn't going on so long ago. So let's look at the society that we live in, what society is actually telling us to do. Every time you look up, there's something yummy for your tummy, right? And it's very difficult to not partake in all of these things because they're everywhere. And it used to be that a big gulp was a little big gulp. I don't know if y'all remember that, but big gulps weren't that big. So we have all of these treats that are surrounding us and work parties and all of those things. And this is interesting, but remember a Coke? I mean, there's still a Coke can, but now we have this huge, big Coke, which is so much more sugar than we need and obviously more than our body can process. And so society has us juggling everything. We're running around, we're grabbing fast food, and we're just like, all the time, right? So that's a perfect storm for diabetes. And then society is telling you, so if you watch TV, it's pushing all these foods. You don't see fruits and vegetables on TV. Nobody's like telling you like, you know, eat oranges or anything like that. So it's like all these foods, and then it's telling you to take the medication. Now every time you turn on the TV, there's a medication commercial, and it's this perfect storm in this cycle. Eat the wrong foods, get sick, take the medication, stay on medication, make somebody really rich, and it's just a cycle. And so I hope that in some of this information you say, okay, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I want to do something different. And you can. Food is so, so powerful in that it will either give you life or take it away from you. And it is a matter of what we're eating. And that becomes a challenge because it's what do I eat? What should I eat? Is what is right or wrong? And then there's this relationship that we have with food that's not always a clear relationship. Because sometimes a lot of times we have an emotional attachment to food. We celebrate around food. We do everything around food. So food is like this blessing and a curse. So I want to just give you some tools and give you some insight on what healthy food looks like, not to say that never have a donut or never have Cheetos. It's not about never do anything. It's just this balance of putting more good in your body than bad more often. So, and just know this is if you are diabetic and you change your eating habits for the better and you are on medication, you have to change that too, because the medication is designed to keep your blood sugar down, and you're eating properly is going to make your blood sugar go down naturally. So you have to talk to your doctor and let them know that you're ready to make a change. And in doing so, you may not need that medication as you need it before. So on your plate, what should go on your plate? What to eat? So, and I don't know who's on here. You might be vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian, vegan with rights. I've heard that a couple of times. So, but let me just give you an overview. So you're going to have your plate of food, right? And so a portion of it is going to be your protein source. And if you're saying, well, how much? We'll say 5 to 7 ounces to give you just kind of a number. That's fish. Lean meat. So lean meats would be your chicken, your turkey. If you can do organic, grass-fed, if you're doing beef, you're doing lean cuts, which would be like flank steak, carne asada. If you're a plant-based eater, then you're looking at tofu, tempeh, plant protein sources, and plant protein powders. But you want to have a complete protein. Complete means that it has the amino acid profile. It has all of the amino acids that your body needs, right? So part of your meal is your protein. That makes sense. So that's important, because this is how we're talking about balance. Where you're balancing your blood sugar is important to balance the food group. So you want to have your protein, baked, not fried, and then healthy fats. Healthy fats, when it comes to blood sugar, actually does help to manage all of that. So that would be your nut butters. And nut butters could be your almond butter, your cashew butter, your peanut butter, your nuts, 1/4 of a cup. Because nuts are cool, but sometimes we eat too many nuts, right? So 1/4 of a cup, it's like a little handful. Avocado is rich, it's creamy, it's It has good stuff for your cholesterol, olive oil, hummus, sesame seed oil. These are good fats for the body. And then we were talking about carbohydrates. Now, vegetables are considered carbohydrates. There's some starchy vegetables, but let's just say, your vegetables. Eat vegetables all day long. Enjoy. Your kale, your broccoli, your asparagus, your Brussels sprouts, all of that. Those are your vegetables. And even some of your vegetables have a higher sugar content, like peas or carrots. But you have to eat a whole bunch, right? So still, you want to include the colors, your cabbage, purple cabbage, all of that. Veggies, right? Wonderful for your body, highly dense in nutrition. And then you want to have a small amount of whole grains. And I'm going to tell you what a small amount is, because I love for you to leave here with some tangibles, okay, how much? So a small amount of whole grains and legumes also controls your blood sugar. And you're looking for low glycemic fruits. And I'll give you an example, but I'm going to tell you what the high glycemic fruit is. A banana. So, and I love bananas. And if you're diabetic, if you're going to eat one, it's better to do a half of a banana, because it's a higher glycemic fruit. So it has a tendency it has more sugar in it than some of the other fruits. So when you're balancing, you have your protein, you have your plate of vegetables, you have your healthy fat, and you have your, if you're going to do, let's say you're going to have some beans, or you're going to have a piece of toast or a whole grain food, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's what your plate looks like. And it doesn't have to be boring, because what happens with good food is you can add all these seasoning and spices and all of that to make your food tasty. But the bottom line is you can control your blood sugar with your food if you desire to do so. So let's look at serving sizes for carbohydrates, because this is where it gets, I think about when you have a bowl of cereal. Rarely do we have 3/4 of a cup. We have a bowl. We put our bowl and we pour that cereal and we have a bowl. And when we've had a bowl, we probably had 3 or 4 more servings of cereal, because we're having more. Because oftentimes we're eating more than we think we are. So when you're looking at serving sizes to keep that blood sugar balanced, again, you have your protein, your fats, and all of that. But let's look at serving sizes. So if you're going to have, to put this in perspective, a piece of bread. Now, if you're having a sandwich, right, that's 2 pieces of bread. So you usually have this sandwich, and maybe you have chips on the side, or you have French fries or something like that. Then you're overloading your body with carbohydrates in that one setting. So what I like to do is have a half of a sandwich and a salad. So a serving size would be 1 piece of bread, not 2, not a foot long, 1 piece of bread. If you're doing a bun, it's half of a bun. So let me give you an example of what this would look like. Let's say you want a hamburger or a turkey burger or an Impossible burger or whoever burger. You want a burger. So you could do it lettuce wrapped with a couple of sweet potato fries on the side, or you can do half of a bun, like an open face sandwich with salad on the side. The idea here is, it's not that you're not having carbohydrates, because it's not that. It is managing the carbohydrates. If you're doing a bowl of cereal, that really is 3/4 of a cup. So if you're going to have some Raisin Bran, then it's 3/4 of a cup, and measure it out. If you're doing rice, potatoes, pasta, yams, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying half of a cup, which isn't that much. It's enough, right? It's enough to make me want more, actually. But to get that balance of their blood sugar, that's what you want to do. If you're doing beans, 1/3 of a cup, peas and lentils. Popcorn, you can do a little bit more, which is kind of cool. Oatmeal, the same thing, 3/4 of a cup. Doing that will keep your blood sugar balanced. But what's important is to check your blood sugar, because then you'll know what you've eaten. That sometimes somebody eats an apple and it raises their blood sugar, where someone else it doesn't. Or if you eat an apple but you paired it with a little bit of nut butter, it balances it out for you. Some things you just have to know on your own. But I would say that the power really is in your hands to get this under control. So like low glycemic fruits, berries, apple, grapefruit, pears. Something else was down there. What else do I have down there? Cherries, it says. It covers my thing. So your low glycemic fruits to enjoy. some alternative sweeteners versus sugar. Stevia is from the plant, xylitol, chicory, and there's actually palm sugar, which is called coconut sugar, and it is said to be lower on the glycemic load. So it's a matter of just learning some alternatives for us. So in looking at how to reverse, if you already have diabetes or if you're pre-diabetic, you want to keep it all, it requires some change. Most people don't like that. I don't. I guess they say the only person that likes change is a wet baby. I heard that. So other than that, as adults, we want to stay the course of what we're doing. But my question to ask you is it serving you? Are you being who you want to be? And if you're not, then here are some things you can do. Is first you have to have a commitment and a nutrition action plan, and sometimes an emotional action plan, because like I said, we know that food is not just food. Sometimes it's friend. It's a lot of things. And I do know some wonderful health coaches and emotional eating coaches that help, that I can connect you to, that can help you with that journey too. I do the nutrition part. So exercise is a huge thing, because remember I said at first that the diabetes is a problem of the metabolizing of carbohydrates. So the more that you exercise, the more that you're able to push your metabolism along and burn off those additional carbohydrates. So you cannot underestimate the power of exercise in this plan of keeping your blood sugar balanced. And let's never forget what I call mental fitness and self-care, because again, we're running and going and being and doing, and our body is just like always on. And being able to somehow in this busy life that we have is to chill. Somehow find 15 minutes to just chill, meditate, listen to music, do something to bring yourself down. Because again, all of that activity going on in the back of your body does not help you to manage. And I want to say this about self-care. Because I've asked people what self-care is. They'll say, oh, I get my nails done, or I get a massage every now and then. I would argue that self-care is something that you should do daily for yourself, because you're with yourself every day. You need attention every day, not just once every now and then. So whatever that is for yourself that calms you down, it's a daily thing. If you have a to-do list and you're not on your to-do list, then I ask you, what are your true priorities? Because we give so much to so many people and we are left depleted. And women, we are good for that. We have children, we have all of these things, and we are the ones that are depleted. So easier said than done, but I just want you to hear that. I went back to exercise and saying that it improves the way that your body uses your glucose, which is your sugar. So all in all, exercise is a good thing, not just being on the treadmill, but it's actually weight-bearing exercises that makes it all work out better. So let's talk about your nutrition action plan a little bit. In order to live, you want to eat life. In order to live, you want to eat life. And life comes from foods that is alive, and not like animals, but fruits and vegetables. You want to be eating foods that are full of enzymes. And when I'm speaking of fruits and vegetables in the livest form is when they are raw for your body. I might shock you to say that our bodies need 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day to be healthy. I'm backing up a little bit because there was something it's not there. The slide I wanted to tell you that people that are diabetic, most of them are overweight. Now, you don't have to be overweight, because there are people that are diabetic that are not overweight, but most people are overweight. Most people are not exercising consistently, and most people are not eating, they're eating way less than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, nowhere near 9 to 13, which is almost impossible for us to get, but that's what we need. So going back to eating life, and I wish I could spend the whole, like a whole time with you telling you everything, but I want to just give you some resources or things that you can refer to take this journey a little further should you desire. So there is a community that I'm a part of, and a whole bunch of other health enthusiasts and health coaches, and it's a Shred 10 community. So as I mentioned this, whoever invited you here, you can ask them more about the Shred 10 community and they can explain it all to you. But the reason why I mentioned the Shred 10 community is because it's a supportive community, first of all. It's a community that all of us are wanting to do the same thing, which is to flood our bodies with high quality nutrition and remove the things that don't serve us. And we're there to keep each other accountable in that way. So Shred 10 is fun, it's effective, it's doable, and it's a jump start. So 10 days out of the month, we are removing the habits that do not serve us and flooding our bodies with 45 different plants that do serve us. And again, it is a jump start. So we encourage you to do Shred with the community 10 days out of every month. And when you do that, a number of things happen. You become inspired after the 10 days. You want to keep going, and that's what we want, to inspire you to keep going. But you feel better, like you literally have given life to your body to the point where you don't, right now when you don't do it, you don't know what you don't know. And when you're doing Shred and you're doing that with your body, if your body says, you know what, I like this, I like the way I feel, I miss some things, I miss some of the things that I used to do, but I feel good. And you wouldn't know that unless you do it. So again, ask the person who invited you here to tell you more about the Shred 10, and we'll start again next month because we're on it already. So you missed it for this month, but we'll start again next month. So get with them and they can tell you a little bit about that. And then briefly, I want to mention, and if you know me, I've been mentioning this for the past 2 years because it just works, is that when you flood your body with fruits and vegetables, here's the kicker. It's hard to do 9 to 13 servings. It's hard to do it raw. Unless you are juicing every day, which gets a little cumbersome and messy, we found a way to do it that's easier and uber effective. And so we call it one simple change. A lot of my buddies, right, my clients and my buddies, we take our fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it's not what you think. It's literally, you see this lady with this big, huge plant. We also grow our fruits and vegetables aeroponically. But what you see here, all of that produce is what's in the capsules. You don't see berries here, you don't see the fruits, but generally it's just raw fruits and vegetables with the water taken out, turned into a powder, and encapsulated, where you're getting all those micronutrients in your body. What do you think would happen to your body if you flooded your body with 30 to 45 plants every day? What do you think would happen? I mean, think about it. That's how I stay so cute at 44, right? I put all these plant powders in my body. And it's not a multivitamin. I don't even recommend a multivitamin at all, because a multivitamin is a synthetic version of isolated nutrients, where when you're eating the nutrients, I mean, there's thousands of phytochemicals in plants. So when you're flooding your body with the plant powders, it's not a multivitamin. Even though it's in a capsule and it looks like a vitamin, it's not. It's pits, peels, and seeds of oranges and apples and pomegranates and all of that in those capsules. Vine ripened is important. Vine ripened means that it's taken off of the vine when it's fully ripened. You don't get that from the store. So when you go into Stater Brothers or Albertsons or Trader Joe's or Sprouts or wherever you go, they have to pick the produce and put it on the shelf before it's vine ripened, because it cannot be vine ripened and then wait for you to come in and eat it, right? Because the shelf life isn't that long. So they pick it before it's ripe so it can sit in the bin longer before you get to it. Well, that is taking the nutrition out of it in a big way. Think of taking a baby out of the womb before it had the time to develop. That's what we do with our produce. That is why our fruits and vegetables, organic or not, is not as nutritious, and that's why we keep needing more and more. So our environment's kind of crazy, and then our food is not as nutritious. So hence you see more diabetes, more cancer, more of all these issues. And the other thing is raw. Raw is where the nutrients are. So when you cook your spinach or your greens or your this or your that, you kill the nutrition, unfortunately. So why I recommend and take the capsules is because it's raw. There's no pesticides, there's no GMO. It bridges the gap between what you should eat and what you do eat. So I still eat big salads every day. I still eat my vegetables, but I bridge the gap because I don't do 9 to 13. I bridge the gap. It is my insurance policy for myself. It is better to be preventative than trying to fix something. No excuses. I say to you, what do you value? What are your priorities for real? Because if I ask you, you'll say one thing perhaps, and you may be doing something else. So if you truly value there is no perfection in any of us. It's baby steps, turtle steps, whatever you want to call it, but knowing that that's the direction that you want to go. And something that's very, very important in this journey is you have to surround yourself, or you're better when you surround yourself with others who are going in that same direction. If you're trying to do something and you're the only one trying to do it, especially when it comes to food, your failure rate is very, very high. But when you align yourself with others that are in that same space, then they pull you along when you're struggling. My buddies, we hang out and I don't drink enough water. And I think I'll always say this because they called me out, like, you don't drink enough water. And so every time I see them, I'm like, gotta drink my water. It's a reminder. It's a reminder. So no excuses. Everything that you need, I would say this, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Everything that you need is available to you if you put one step in front of the other, if your intention is right. So I close with this. I want to leave like a couple seconds for questions, but what if you did nothing else but make one simple change by flooding your body with the plant produce powders that I mentioned? What if? So let's start there. Second, if you become a part of the Shred 10 community, I'm going to make sure that you have a nutrition plan to follow that is mapped out exactly well for your blood sugar. So again, I mentioned, please get with the person who invited you here. Ask them about the Shred 10. Ask them how you can get the nutrition plan that'll balance your blood sugar. Ask them how you can get these plant powders in your body, and let's hang out. I'd love to hang out. So with that being said, it takes work, it takes dedication. Don't let anything stand in your way from being who you want to be. I would love to open it up for any questions or comments before I'll stop sharing my screen and see if anybody has any questions or comments at all. Well, I love how everybody's muted. That's wonderful. You're welcome to unmute.
Robin, this is excellent information, just wonderfully laid out. And what would you say, somebody who's maybe just hearing this for the first time, it just might be, kind of an emotional moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in trying to manage that, what would you say? Because if they might be a little overwhelmed, what would you tell them?
There's a couple things. I would tell them, one, I'm recording this, so I would tell them to ask for the recording. So I'm going to record it. So whoever invited you here, you can review this, right, over and over again with all the details that I gave you. So that's one thing. Then I would say, reach out to the person that invited you here again, because it is likely that they have some resources that they can connect you to. Because again, I say that, people know what to do and sometimes fail to do what they know not because they don't know. And I actually got this from you. It's the information's there. You can get on YouTube. You can hear it from me. You can get it. But sometimes it's not that easy, right? Not that easy to say, oh, just do this. No, because sometimes we really have some feelings about our food, right? We say we're not going to do this, and then we go and get in the closet when people are not seeing us and put Skittles in our mouth or whatever, because we have a certain attachment to food. So I will say this: I have some resources, some emotional eating coaches, some people who have been through that and can speak to you on that level, which I cannot. But my intention is to connect you. So if you don't know where to start, but you know you need to start somewhere, reach out to me and or the person that invited you, and let us connect you with somebody who can hold your hand that's been there. Because if your challenge is beyond me, right, then maybe I'm not the right person to be holding your hand, because I don't walk in those shoes. But I would put you in contact with somebody who does. So that's what I would say. Is that fair? Cool. All right. I always want to be respectful of everyone's time. It's 7:32, so I try not to keep us on more than 30 minutes. Please do. You're welcome to type a question or speak a question or no question at all. But again, I did record this, so if you want to request the recording, then let somebody know, and we'll get that to you and share it. Each one teach one. I feel like when we are empowered with some information, share it with somebody, right? Okay, so I send you all love and blessings, and thank you for showing up. And my name is Rob, for you who don't know me. And there's a whole team. Oh, let me just say this, y'all. There's a whole team of health coaches, and I mentioned this, that they have different stories. And my job is to connect you with people who have a story that you can relate to.
Robin, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Armida.
Yep.
My husband's niece had a little bit of a concern, because I was telling her about, because she is trying to lose weight, and I was telling her about the Shred 10. But I guess some of the people that were gathered there when we were talking about that were saying, if this was one of those things that if once you stop for any reason taking it, that you're just going to gain more weight than what you already had when you do the Shred 10. Yeah. She kind of caught me there. I didn't really know what to answer her. I'll answer that we have a nutritionist specialist like you that would help her get through, her eating much better and keeping her weight down.
Yeah. I'm going to answer that. I'm going to stop the recording just because I want the recording to stay, I don't want it to go on forever. I'm going to stop that, but I'm going to answer that question for you.